So in this recording, I am going to be touching on considering your source. What do I mean by that? So when we go through life, I think we have a tendency to navigate through life by exchanging information. And this exchange of information can come from an array of sources. It could be from person to person, it could be through technology, it could be through your environment, like just feeling the elements around you and gathering information. You know what I mean? So there's just so many different ways of exchanging information. It could be nonverbal. So like I know empathic people or intuitives, we tend to gather information silently, like we can feel others' emotions or hear their thoughts. So, you know, there's just different channels of communication and different ways of acquiring information. But the thing is, I think depending on the source of information, it could be true, it could be untrue. You know, it just depends on the source. And I've posted things about this before, but I don't think many people have tuned into this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they really mulled it over. And I feel like a lot of people just blindly allow themselves to be influenced by hearsay, by what they read, by what they hear. You know what I mean? Instead of like experimenting and researching to find out how true the information is and how resourceful the source is. There's just a lot of people, I want to say 80 to 90% of people just blindly follow what they hear and see without doing proper research. For me, I've always been inquisitive. I've always been curious. I haven't really been one to like fall for like dramatic displays or gossip or, you know, hearsay, unless I've done like the appropriate work and research myself to determine whether or not there's some truth to it or not. But yeah, like I notice people would just like, for instance, if you're at work and then somebody goes and tells you, oh, I heard this and that, people will be, oh my God, and then it'll just kind of like spread like a disease. You know what I mean? Like for me, if somebody came up to me and said, oh, I heard this and that, I would take in their information. I would kind of like pick it apart and analyze it from different angles to determine whether or not it really had truth to it or not. Yeah, like a lot of stuff on on like news and stuff. I mean, you got to consider your source. I mean, how true is it? A lot of things around you, I find, you know, because the mind is so addicted to being stimulated, it's almost like it seeks drama and it seeks chaos or it seeks problems so that it'll give it an excuse to like analyze things and probe things. And I don't know, I guess it's dependent on how you use the tool, really, because you can use a tool for creation or destruction. But, you know, like the mind, it's just so hungry. It's never satiated, I feel, and it just constantly looks for drama instead of like being okay with what's happening and being okay with things as they are and just letting it go. No, it likes to like collect dramatic information and chaos and problems and distress so that it has an excuse to like do something, you know? So yeah, like I don't know, man. It's really interesting to me, and I don't mean to like sound condescending or anything, but I feel like you can kind of determine how aware a person is based on how easily they're influenced. So if they're easily influenced and they don't even question what's being presented to them, that just tells me that they're looking through a lens this big, you know? You know what I mean? And then they're not even questioning it, and they're just taking that for the truth instead of like actually like expanding their perception and looking at it from a very, like, you know, full scoped frame, you know, and then going, okay, that is true, or no, that's not true. No, they're just going, oh yeah, I heard this, that's true, and then they're gonna like spread that like a disease, you know. Yeah, I'm looking for medicine. I'm not looking to like create more disease, or, you know, we have so much of that in the world, and the world needs some more healing, you know what I mean? And I'm looking for remedies, and I've noticed that the mind can be really sick, man. Like, it can make you sick. It can make you sick. It can make others sick, you know, just like, it's dependent on, like, I don't know, what you allow yourself to be influenced by, what you allow yourself to believe or perceive, you know what I mean? And if you're like just looking at things from like this, I just feel like you're probably going to, like I said, be influenced really easily by nonsense and non-factual things, you know what I mean? You're going to take everything at face value, and that's just surface. I mean, have you considered the other, another point of view, or there's two sides to a coin, you know what I mean? And if you think about it, there's two sides to a coin. There's a coin itself, there's like different like angles of the coin, but most people are just looking at one little piece of the coin and going, that's it. And it's weird, like for me, like when I was going through my phase where I was like full on hungry for truth, like full on truth seeker, and I was just like, I don't know, I was very passionate about trying to figure out what everything was all about. I could like read articles or read certain books or hear certain things, and I could know right away that this person or that source of information had a very narrow perspective, and then I would kind of like discard their point of view because, you know, it was very fragmented. It was very like, it was just like a very tiny piece of what was, you know what I mean? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you're the same way, but I could read something and it'll either resonate with me or it's a feeling. It's a feeling. Like, it's not even intellectual, really. Like, it's partly intellectual, but then after it filters through my intellectual, like, intelligence, it'll filter through my intuition, and it'll filter through, like, yeah, different aspects of who I am, and then I'll be like, okay, this seems really valid. Like, this person has a really valid point. It's a trustworthy source. I could take this information into consideration. Or on the opposite end of the spectrum, be like, man, this person's really, like, really narrow-minded, or, you know, they're not really seeing things clearly, and it's just a fragment of the truth, which to me isn't, it's not that it's not anything, but, you know, for me, it's like I can't really take that source, you know, seriously because of their lack of experience, their lack of awareness, their lack of mindfulness. And yeah, man, most people, man, and they just into the juicy gossip and the, gossip and drama, and I'm just like, I don't have time for that, you know? Like, life is so short. Life is so darn short. Think about it. We're already, like, going into March pretty soon, 2018. I mean, just like that, you know? I don't have time to be wasting time on silly things or drama or chaos. And so I've been kind of, like, trying to realign myself, rebalance myself, and practice calmness and peace, and just kind of like setting aside the dramatics that the mind creates and just seeing things clearly for what it is, you know, regardless of what everyone else perceives it to be. Yeah, like, for instance, this is a good example. Maybe you can relate, maybe you can't, but like some people, I guess they're so into like the weather forecast. They'll look at the forecast for the day, and then, you know, the forecast will say, oh, we're expecting like a storm. And so, like, everyone around me is just, like, flipping out. They're like, oh my God, the forecast says we're going to have a storm. And sometimes, like, nothing happens. Like, there's no rain, there's nothing. But the people around me, they're so easily influenced by the information without really doing proper investigation. And then it's fear-based. Like I said, the mind feeds off of this type of energy. Like, I think that's what fuels the mind, is like fear-based thoughts and drama and chaos. Man, sometimes you gotta step outside of your mind, man. Like, I feel like it actively seeks problems because it wants stimulation. Seriously. So a lot of times I'll like totally like step out of my mind and just step into my feelings, step into my intuition, step into the moment, step into my breath, you know? Because I don't have time to be overly dramatizing or allowing my mind to be the master when I should be the master of my mind. Mastery of self, people. Mastery of self. I mean, if you truly want to, like, find something worthwhile, you know? Yeah. I guess that's all I have to say. I didn't realize I was talking for, like, over 11 minutes. Anyhow, if you learned something, that's cool. If you didn't learn anything, that's cool, too. Yeah. Anyhow, hope you are having a beautiful day or night, and thanks for watching. Blessings to one and all. Amen.